how do these toxins get into our body? By various means. It's through the food. First is through the food that we eat, because today the food that we eat, even though sometimes we feel that we're eating healthy, we're gone all vegan, or we're gone all gluten free, or we're gone all lactose free, and things like that, but still we're consuming a lot of chemicals, we're still consuming a lot of preservatives, a lot of flavoring agents along with these foods. Secondly, we're going on diets which are depriving us from macros, like your carbs. Some diets are there which will tell you, okay, don't eat this food group, because they're foods which will cause weight gain, or are bad for your heart, or bad for something else, and things like that. So there's a lot of confusion, and in the end we take in a lot of toxins through our food. Second is air, which is not really in our control. The air today that we breathe, it's a very poor quality, and as a result we get in a lot of toxins through the air, and that is not really in our control. Next is water. Yes, though we find that the water is very clear today, all of us have these RO water filters installed in our homes, but still then we have a lot of toxins coming in the body through these RO water, the RO water as well. And the RO water is something that not just removes toxins or tries to remove the toxins, but also removes other minerals which are supposed to be there in water and which are good for us also. So in the bargain, we deprive ourselves again from nutrients that our body actually needs. So what are the causes for accumulation of these toxins? Now we have a body which has got an immune system, right? We have been given this immune system by God, and this immune system is supposed to protect us. But even then, even though we have an immune system, why is it that these toxins are all getting accumulated? One is because of dietary changes. Today, the food that we grow, the soil that we grow our food in is not the same compared to the soil that was there 10 years, 15 years ago, 20 years, 30 years back, when our parents or grandparents and great grandparents would have their food, and their cultivation methods, their processing methods were completely different from what it is today. Today, all of our food, or most of our food, gets packaged in a processing unit, right? Sadly today, if somebody tells you to have a banana, we are very fearful of having a banana, because it's natural, it's coming from a plant. But if somebody tells us that I have these high fiber biscuits because they are made in a processing unit, we are kind of inclined to having something that is coming from a packet. It's not our fault. We've been constantly being hammered with information like this. So dietary changes, following latest diet trends like keto diet, or going on a very crash diet, an all egg diet, and a complete juice detox diet, and things like this are what cause problems. Again, you're eating a lot of exotic food. Today there is this cauliflower rice. So the actual rice that we get in our country, we grow about 100 different varieties of rice that has been replaced with cauliflower rice or with quinoa, or our poha and upma has been replaced with oats. So we've been forced to eat things like this because they are said to have high fiber, or they are said to have higher nutrition than our local food. So that is one of the reasons, because diet has completely changed. Second is under eating. Suddenly someone has told us that no, you cannot eat any carbs, you're only supposed to eat protein. So we are eating protein. So for protein, what we are eating? We're having more of meats. So today the Indian diet has completely reversed. We are people, our guts are supposed to digest more of carbs, more of lentils, more of pulses, more of sabjis. And the protein aspect, that is your fish, egg and meats, was supposed to be consumed only when there is a festival, or maybe once in a month, or maybe once in 15 days. That is how we were eating our meat once upon a time. But now it is completely reversed. I have parents who come to me and tell me that, doctor, without meat, my child just refuses to eat. There has to be a meat in their plate. Otherwise, they will not even sit for a meal. So that is what has happened. This has forced parents to give more meat. And the children are learning it from the parents itself. And we are getting influenced from the social media and all these influencers who keep telling us that remove carbs from your diet and add a lot of meat, this grilled, boiled, or steamed, whatever it is. Okay, next is the corporate world. They are drinking such a lot of tea and coffee all the time. They're loading themselves with tea and coffee. Now, what does tea and coffee do? Tea has got something called as tannins. All right, tannins are something that works like caffeine only. So tea has got tannin and coffee has got caffeine in it. Now both these are stimulants. It's good to have 2 cups of tea or 3 cups of tea maximum per day. I highly recommend it. It is not bad to have a cup of tea or even a cup of coffee. But there are a few rules that you need to follow. Do not start your day with a cup of tea or a coffee. Start your day with a glass of water, a fruit, or some dry fruits in the morning, and then you can have your cup of tea or coffee later on. Don't have a cup of tea or coffee post 6 o'clock, because that will again lead to acidity and bloating and things like that. And try and not replace your meals with chai and coffee. A lot of us have a habit, okay, I'm running late today, I think I'm just going to have a packet of biscuit or this high fiber biscuit with a cup of tea, and that will be done. My lunch or my lunch or even breakfast will be done. So don't replace your meals with tea and coffee. Now, tea and coffee both have got stimulants, and these stimulants interfere with the absorption of nutrients. Okay, so even though you've had a very good meal, but post a meal, if you're taking a cup of tea or coffee, you're not really getting enough nutrients that you've consumed through your food. So always, if you have a habit of having a cup of tea or coffee post a meal, try and break that habit, and with the consent of your doctor only, you should stop your medicines or reduce your doses. But there are people who constantly take pills for acidity, hyperacidity. Then girls constantly taking medication for getting periods. Now, periods or menses are supposed to be physiological. Okay, getting your periods is normal. A girl should have a 28 days or a 30-day cycle and get her periods normally. But we're taking medication for periods also. For sleep, that is another thing. Hormonal imbalance. Today, thyroid or so many other problems have been coming up. People are having a lot of hormonal imbalance. So things like this lead to medication, and then because you consume a lot of medication, there are a lot of toxins in your body. Next is pollution, your air pollution, or the soil in what our food is growing. That also has got a lot. It's polluted. So these things are not in our control. Next is stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety also play a very important role. I feel any disease, I believe, and we've studied this in homeopathy, that any disease starts in the mind. Later it comes into the body. There is a connection between the mind and the body, and first it starts with some kind of an episode that took place where you were hurt emotionally, or you were broken completely, or some kind of stress which was there, which leads to problems. A lot of people come to me, and when I probe and ask the history of the disease, like how it actually started or what was the onset, there is 90% of the time there is an emotional issue related to the disease. So there was a breakup or a loss of a family member, or some kind of hurt that was there that led to the problem. And last is lack of exercise. Today, because of the pandemic, we are forced to sit in front of a gadget and talk and things like this. But our kids, it has really affected them. There are a lot of cases of child obesity that I've seen. Child and youngsters, our teenagers, adolescents have unnecessary fat. We hardly move. Forget exercise. Exercise is another aspect, and activity is another aspect. Throughout the day, instead of being active, being mobile, we are either on the phone or on a gadget. We're constantly watching some YouTube videos, or we're doing client meetings. We're constantly sitting. So this is also one of the reasons these toxins are getting accumulated, and we are not able to flush them. All right. So lack of exercise and activity are also causes why your toxins can increase. Now, what happens when we have excess toxins in our cells? Of course, there's either an acute disease or a chronic disease. Okay. What is an acute disease? An acute disease is a reaction that your body will throw, to try to release all the toxins, like a common cold or a sore throat, or a slight stomach infection. You've eaten out, or you've eaten some stale food, or you've not had your meals on time, and then you get a bout of diarrhea, or or vomiting. So these are some ways your body will try to move the toxins out. So these are acute diseases. Now chronic diseases are when your body completely accumulates a lot of toxins, and then it is completely depressed. It causes a depression in your cells, and then your cells are unable to eliminate the toxins. This is when we need a detox. All right. Now we are going to talk about a single organ detox. So what are the organs that actually need detox? Okay. The first one is your colon and the intestinal detox. Now, we all have heard of gut bacteria, and there are a lot of products in the market which talk about probiotics and prebiotics and things that are good for your gut bacteria. But trust me, we don't really, in India especially, we are not a country like the UK or other very clean countries. They don't have much of this gut bacteria there, because they're a much cleaner country. But here in India, we have loads of gut bacteria. Not just bacteria, we've got virus, we've got fungus, we've got a lot of things. And this gut bacteria that we have in India is actually good. And this gut bacteria itself will help us in our detox. But what do? We eat a lot of junk food. We're not having our meals on time, doing excess of tea and coffee, or we are drinking alcohol or smoking. That's when the gut bacteria goes for a toss. All right. So there is gut bacteria in your gut which actually helps your detox. Okay. So we need to constantly keep rejuvenating this gut bacteria. Next is digestive juices and enzymes. Now, most people who are on diabetic medication or on medication for hypertension or any hormonal imbalance, these digestive enzymes and juices, the production of these are hampered, as a result of which most of the people get a lot of hyperacidity post the medication. So then the doctors will give her an antacid, along with the other chronic disease medication. Now, when they are constantly on this antacids, this in turn hampers the digestive enzymes and the juices in the long run, and again the gut bacteria also. Next is bowel movements. These days we are told that we need to have high fiber in our diet, and to have a good bowel movement. So what do we decide to do? We decide to replace our poha, upma, idli, dosas, all of these favorite breakfasts that we have, we replace it with oats, thinking that it is high fiber. Or we replace our normal red rice or the white rice that we have, or the local rice that we have, with brown rice and brown bread and things like that. So we seem to get obsessed with brown. Okay. Though we're not really happy about the brown skin that we have, but other things brown we're obsessed with. Yeah. So you don't have to change your food, your local traditional food. You don't have to change it to have good bowel movements. You can have your regular food. Try not to eat extra high fiber. Now your brown bread, your brown rice, your oats, these all have a lot of fiber, excess of fiber. Now, when you consume excess of fiber, your gut has to be able to digest it also, right? Now, if your gut is not able to digest this excess fiber, then your body does not absorb the nutrients. Your gut is not able to absorb nutrients, and you anyways pass everything out through your stools. Okay. So keep in mind, for your gut, very important, gut bacteria, digestive enzymes, and your bowel movements. Okay. Next is the liver detox. Now, the liver is supposed to be the most important organ in our entire digestive system. There's a lot of functions that it has, but the most important function that the liver has is two functions actually: the metabolism of fat, proteins, and carbohydrates. Now, anything that you consume, or any food that you consume, it is broken down into its components, fat, protein, and carbohydrates, and then it is taken up by the liver, and it is stored as glycogens, and then it further breaks it down into essential fatty acids, or it breaks it down into other vitamins like B12 and other vitamins and things like that. So your liver needs to have good functioning. Yeah. And you don't slow down your liver function only when you consume alcohol, but when you don't exercise, when you have very late meals, especially when you eat a lot of fried non-veg items, that's the time your liver actually goes for a toss. And the second very important function that the liver has is synthesis of plasma proteins such as albumin and clotting factors. Now, I know a lot of people, they're like, okay, I think I don't consume enough protein, so let me do this, 4 egg whites every day in the morning because it's high protein, and replace the dinner, replace your dal chawal just with a piece of boiled chicken or another 2-3 eggs, and you discard the yellow, you eat only the egg white. Now, albumin is actually synthesized in the liver, all right? And whatever protein that you consume, you don't actually consume protein, you consume it in the form of amino acids, all right? And these amino acids are then broken down and synthesized by the liver, and then you get actual protein, okay? And excess of protein actually gets eliminated from the body. So even though you are eating a lot of protein, but at the same time, if your liver is depressed, it's not really functioning well, that protein is again going as waste. All right. So that is why we need a good functioning liver. Next is your kidneys. Now, we all know kidneys are very, very important for all the excretion of a lot of, or to filter our blood constantly. So most of the medication that we take, and even the food that we have, it also affects the kidney. So kidneys need to be functioning at its best. Next is your lungs. Now, the exchange of air, gases, everything takes place in your lungs. The movement of oxygen inside your body and the carbon dioxide outside, everything is it happens there in the lungs. So a lot of microbes, a lot of dust, a lot of bacteria, some virus, some kind of thing, foreign objects enter the lungs. So that is why our nasal passages, our air passages need to be kept detoxed. So they need to have proper functioning. Now, lung detox, if you're a smoker, or you live in a very polluted area and things like that, then breathing techniques, okay, or pranayam is something that I highly recommend to everybody, not just people because you are a smoker or you live in a very polluted city or things like that, but generally also, not just for having good quality of breathing, but generally also for good mental health, and to have a good mindset, you should practice pranayam. Now, pranayam is something that, most of these trekkers or hikers or people who go to the Himalayas, I have met a lot of people who, who've done these huge hikes and who've done the Everest base camp and all. They all told me that they started practicing pranayam, and that is one of the reasons they were actually able to sustain us at those high altitudes. All right, where they don't have much of oxygen and the pressure is really high, the air pressure is really high. So work on getting your lungs fit, and pranayam is one of the best ways that you can do it. Next is the pancreas. Now, we think that the pancreas only produces insulin, and the main function of the pancreas is to regulate the blood sugar or the blood glucose level. Yes, of course, that is one of the main functions, but it has also another function where it really works on our digestion and our other hormones. Okay, it really helps. It helps to trigger a good balanced diet. Also, there's something called as insulin resistance that happens when we are eating a lot of junk food. Now, what is this insulin resistance? You've had a pizza, or you've had a burger, you've had some chips, you've had soft drinks, and you've had a good party, and now your blood sugars are really soaring, they're very high. So when you have increased blood sugars, the pancreas produces insulin. That is the work of the pancreas. Okay, Now, because your blood sugars are high, your pancreas will produce a lot of insulin. There is extra insulin in the blood. Okay. And now you do this today, then you do it the day after, and you constantly keep eating a lot of junk food. So again and again, your pancreas are producing a lot of insulin. Now, this extra insulin that is there, that is not taken up by your cells. Your body starts becoming resistant to that insulin, or your cells start becoming resistant to that insulin, as a result of which then you have your diabetes, you have PCOD and other, increased cholesterol, increased lipidemia, increased blood pressure. All these things start from here. So trust me, this organ, the pancreas, is very, very important for us, not just for your insulin sensitivity or things like that, but also for your digestion. So try and keep your pancreas in check. And if you want to have a good functioning pancreas, stay away from all possible packet food and processed food. Next is your endocrine detox. Now, this is for all your hormones. There are such a lot of hormones in the body. In our medical science, we've not even found out the functioning of most of these hormones. Though we have a lot, we've not able to. So we need to also work on our endocrine glands, because these are hormones. They are an organ by itself, actually. So your thyroid, your hormones to regulate your moods, your sleep, your happy hormones, the sex hormones, all of these are really very important to us. So the endocrine detox also is a must. It plays a very important role. And last is your blood or the lymph detox, that is also called as the extracellular fluid, or the extracellular fluid that is there. Now, this is the lymphatic system. Now, just like how we've got arteries and veins, we also have something called as the lymphatic system, or the lymphatic vessels, through which a lot of fluid gets circulated. So that extra fluid from your blood sometimes goes into this lymphatic system. Now, we don't really give a lot of importance, to this lymphatic system, but if this lymphatic system gets choked or it gets clogged, then there are a lot of problems that can happen, especially with your hormonal imbalance. There is also hypertension, there is kidney problems, your diabetes. A lot of these happen, and they get clogged because of the same reason. You're eating a lot of junk food, exercise, lack of exercise. These are things that trigger blockages in your lymphatic system. Okay. Now, how do you detox? It's very simple. There are various ways of doing a detox, acupuncture, reflexology. These are also ways of doing detox. Then, taking in a lot of teas and diuretics, and, going just on salads and just juices and smoothies. Now, these are also ways of detoxing. They are known to us. But the problem with these kind of detox methods is that you end up actually, of course, getting a detox, but you end up having a lot of nutritional imbalance, or you're having a lot of malnutrition that takes place when you go on just juices, and you're just having smoothies and just coffees and teas like that. So that's not a very healthy way of doing a detox. Next is also taking magnesium. Magnesium enters your cells, and then it pushes it helps in in detoxing your body, but again, I would not recommend it. Next is your massages, the cold and hot showers, skin brushing, things like this do help. And of course, exercise by itself is also a detox. But one of the best ways that I have seen, and this plan that I've made, is just a 7 days program. And once you join the program, you will understand that this is a plan that I can actually follow every day, because it does not leave you feeling very drained, exhausted, hungry, and tired. But you will be surprised to know that eating my basic ghar ka khana, I can still do a detox. And it does not make you source very expensive ingredients or food items such as broccoli or kale or celery or things that are not really easily available. This is a plan where you can follow with just your the stuff that is available in your kitchen. There, it's easy to do, and the best part is the whole family can do it together. It could be anybody above the age of 14, 15, who can follow it. It could be a diabetic person, or it could be somebody with, hypertension or a hormonal imbalance. They can also follow the program. So it's completely safe. What to expect after the detox? Of course, you may have inch loss. I cannot promise that. Some inches on your waistline you may see have gone down, maybe half an inch in about 7 days. You may lose about a kilo or two, maybe. That's because your hormones have got back, and anybody is suffering from a lot of water retention, so that that could get corrected. But things that will really improve after a detox are your bowel movements. I can assure you that bowel movements will get better. Your fat loss will start. So me as a nutritionist, I never focus on weight loss only. My main idea of getting people to join a program is to get them fit by the end of the program, not just weight loss. Weight loss will eventually happen as a byproduct of the program. But what really happens here in the program is this fat loss happening. So you lose fat, or your body is, now, the metabolism has improved. So you can lose more fat just doing your basic diet, or just doing this basic diet and following a little bit of exercise. Next is good quality of sleep. Your sleep will also improve. Your blood pressure and blood sugars will get regulated. Hormonal balance. Now, a lot of women suffer from a lot of hormonal issues. There are breakouts of skin, on the skin. There is bad moods. There is irregular periods. There's a lot of anxiety, even depression. Now, all these are linked to your hormones. And this is a plan where, it really works on your hormones. Sorry. And the last point is there will definitely be reduced stress and anxiety. The best part is there will not be any stress about what to eat, otherwise constantly when you're on a diet or when you're on a program, you're like, God, where do I get that from? I may have to make a list of things, and there's always that anxiety. I've seen this happening to a lot of people. So that kind of worry is not going to be there. And of course, at the end of the program, there will be reduced stress and definitely reduced anxiety. Now, who can join this program, or who needs a detox, is anybody with any sort of gastric problems. It could be hyperacidity, it could be bloating, or it could be you have a lot of burping, you pass a lot of gas throughout the day, you're constantly feeling hungry, or you need migraine headaches. Now, I know a lot of people who get a lot of migraine headaches. It's because of nutritional deficiencies. So this diet, I can promise you, and like I've said, that this program can be followed not just for these 7 days, but for the next 1 or 2 months or 3 months also. Or you can decide for yourself once you get onto the program. So these are problems that can be taken care of, your migraine headache especially. Next is binge eating disorders. Now, binge eating is people who are constantly eating, like they've just eaten a meal and now again they are hungry, or they have small meals all the time. Like every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, you'll see them going to the fridge and grabbing something, or going to the cupboard and finding something to eat. So anybody with binge eating disorders. Sleeplessness, your sleep quality will definitely get better. Next is fatigue and tiredness will also improve. It's also for chronic smokers and alcoholics, anybody with anxiety and depression. So basically anyone above the age of 18 can get onto this plan. But I would recommend it even for young people above the age of 14. They can still get onto this detox plan. All right, so I've come to the end of the detox session. If you have any questions, you can ask me. We will be starting the program on Monday, but we we need to get the number and the registrations by today or by tomorrow morning, because I will be sharing the grocery list. I will be sharing the diet plan tomorrow. So before that, if we get the number and if you can register, it would be much better.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joline. Any question anyone has? Before we go to question and answer round, I would like to welcome Her Excellency Catherine Kubi here. Very warm welcome, ma'am. Namaste.
Namaste.
How are you doing today?
Thank you for welcoming me. So I was a little bit late to join the program, but all what I was able to listen, I think it is also actually for me, everything. Yes.
Please join us for the program then.
Yes. Well, thank you for this valuable contribution, and I'm definitely interested to know more about it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for joining, Her Excellency. Thank you. Yeah. Any question you have, or any questions anyone has, so that Dr. Joline can answer any query you have? Yes, Dr. Anil.
Yeah, hi. First of all, I would like to thank Doctor for making things so simple. Even a layman could understand this. Me being a doctor, yes, it's very simple for me to understand, but even a layman could understand. I really appreciate and thank you for it. And the second part, I just want to add a little thing onto this, saying that, see, being a doctor, it always hits me, like we over-medicate ourselves, or we self-medicate ourselves, which should be an absolute no. A doctor is there, please visit your doctor, take his sincere advice, and then go on medication, not just across the table. Like I see people using antibiotics just like that, which is really, really bad for your body. And it's going to spoil all your hormones. The whole basic thing is going for a big toss. That's my little advice to all the people out there. And we look forward to your further advice on this. And I think me and my wife would love to join your program. And definitely, I'm sure that we will have good results. Thank you once again for the wonderful explanation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
I think there's a question here that I'd like to take. How much time of workout is good workout, and any specific time period that is healthy? A good workout is something that would be challenging to your body, all right? And exercise, when we say exercise, it has to challenge you. It has to qualify as an exercise when it challenges you. So you can do a little bit of cardio, maybe running, skipping, jogging, something that improves your stamina. That has to be a part of your workout. Next is include a little bit of yoga, which would include a lot of stretching, so that would get your body a little more flexible. And the third is strengthening. So strengthening your body with a little bit of strength training or weight training is something that has to be a part of your exercise. So there has to be a little bit of diversity in your workouts. If you cannot do all the three on the same day, then you can decide to do it on different days. Maybe one day is just for cardio, one day is for strength training, and the other days are for yoga. So you can divide it. The best time to work out is the time that you have. Any convenient time for you is the best time. Just make sure it is 90 minutes post a meal. Don't have a very heavy working out. That is not right, because your blood supply is digestion, and then suddenly you start doing some kind of vigorous activity, so it interrupts the digestion. How much time you should work out in a day? 30 minutes is more than sufficient. If you can go up to 1 hour, it's very good, but minimum 30 minutes a day, or 60 minutes every alternate day. This would.
All right, so here we come at the end of the program, and I would really like to thank you all for participating in this webinar. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Joline, for taking this beautiful webinar and very valuable too. So at last, I would like to say that at Rtambhara, we look forward to your presence on selected Fridays and Saturdays, where we bring you interesting topics on holistic wellness and the arts, delivered by host of distinguished, knowledgeable speakers. The program details will be posted on our WhatsApp group and all the social media platforms, so you can be updated with our upcoming programs. Meanwhile, we look forward to your participation and enrolling in our upcoming detox and weight loss program. You will be added to our WhatsApp group, which is specially created for this program, and Dr. Joline will be available to answer any queries you may have. So thank you all of you for participating.